The chair recognizes Mr. Perlmutter for 5 minutes.
Gentlemen, thank you for your testimony. Thanks for your stamina. We're getting to the end of the line here.
Yeehaw.
So, first thing, Mr. Secretary, 2033. Okay, I hold this bumper sticker up at a lot of hearings. The Undersecretary is familiar with this. This is when the orbits of Mars and Earth are the closest for decades, and we've been talking about getting our astronauts to Mars by 2033. And with your interest and your work with NASA on potentially nuclear propulsion as part of the ability to get our astronauts there, I just want to enroll you in getting our astronauts to Mars by 2033, and I want you to work with Mr. Bridenstine on that. You don't have to answer it. I just want to enroll all of you in this measure.
Yeah,
okay?
I want to answer it, though.
All right.
Buzz Aldrin will wear me out if we don't get ourselves to Mars as soon as we can.
All right. Thank you. I'm glad to hear that. All right. Number two, Dr. Foster, who was up here talking about Argonne and Fermi and Illinois and all that stuff, he is one of the most biased co-chairs in favor of his state that any of us could ever have. And as you know, and I appreciate the visits that you all have made out to the National Renewable Energy Lab, which is in my district, and obviously very proud of that. And I think some of the words you've used, I think we've got to really take heart. And I'm going to lay into you guys a little bit, because you used words like brilliant, capable, outstanding staff, your scientists, your technicians, your engineers, second to none in the world, okay? And you as the chief executive, you as the lieutenant, the CFO here, you've got a staff that's fantastic. And if you were back as governor of Texas and you say to that staff, you know what, I'm going to cut your budget by 85%. That's what you guys mean to me. I mean, when you say that, it hurts. And so Ms. Lofgren and you had an interesting conversation. You said, I'm going to look to Congress to help me on this. But I'm going to say to you, Mr. Secretary, we look to you. We depend on you to defend your department. So I'm going to just ask you, what are the dynamics that lead to something like an 85% cut to the energy efficiency and renewable energy portfolio?
Yeah. I'll give it back to you like I did, or I think
Well,
I did.
Remember, last year, you and the Undersecretary and I talked about these budget cuts, which last year were pretty draconian. I said, look, administration to administration, you can, kind of push a priority, but you don't gut the rest of it. And you said, no, we don't want to do that. But again, it happened.
But I don't think that's not the budget, and we have a budget that's already been approved, and that's not what the budget is. I know what the OMB said, but I mean, again, I go back.
So I guess my dynamics are between you and OMB. How does it really work? Because they come in with these budgets. They say this is what it's going to be, and you have to say, okay, but we're going to work with Congress?
Pretty much.
Okay.
I mean, I ain't gonna lie to you.
All right.
Listen, I don't
that's
write
why I'm
that
asking
budget.
you.
And when I was the governor of the state of Texas, I had a budget, and it would go over to the legislature, and I knew what it would turn out to be, and that was a doorstop.
All right.
And
So
that's how
let me-
OMB's
let me
budget,
ask
I
you
think,
this.
does
So
Congress
No,
look
I
at.
appreciate this conversation. So as the head of the department, when OMB comes back with these numbers that really aren't realistic, that are going to change dramatically in Congress, what do you say to the staff? Doesn't matter? We're going to go to Congress and we'll see what they do?
Pretty much.
All right. All right. Okay, so that's enough
Listen,
of that.
this is their prerogative. I understand how the process works. I don't get spun up, and
But I don't want your staff to get spun up. That's the point.
I don't
And
think
that's
they
where,
do.
All
And
right.
I don't think the national lab folks. They know where I stand on this. They have heard me not only in word but in deed.
And we've seen
supporting
that.
them.
We've seen that, and I appreciate that because you have defended and stood up for the National Renewable Energy Lab and these other labs,
And we'll
I
continue
appreciate
to.
that. All right, last thing. That laboratory, NREL, has something similar to somebody else mentioned, what we call the co-laboratory, which is the lab Colorado University, Colorado State, the School of Mines. Conoco used to be part of that group. I think they still may be, you know, as a way to provide the best minds towards, you know, advancing science and advancing the commercial use of some of these new technologies. So I just wanted to put that out there, that we've been doing that for a while.
And that's interesting. It's some of these types of innovative solutions, options, is how I look at managing DOE. You know, listen, OMB has their job, they do their job, I get that. But it's coming up with some of these solutions using the private sector, using some university resources and what have you, to find the way to manage these, to get us to the point where we can have solutions.
All right, thank you, gentlemen, and I yield back my time.
Thank you. The chair